welcome to High Vibe Honey for the week of the 11th of February 2019. I'm your host, Gala Darling. I have brand new tarot cards for you this week. I have a brand new tapping. My hat says Daddy for a reason. It's totally tied into what we're talking about today, so I thought I'd wear the motherfucking daddy hat. Now, before we get into this, I know that there are a lot of you who watch High Vibe Honey but don't necessarily take part in the tapping, and I want to change all of that. So in the last episode, I asked people to comment saying what had changed in their lives since they started tapping with me on a regular basis. And I wanted to read you some of these comments because they are truly beautiful. And I really hope that this inspires you to give it a shot, because it's really not as scary or as weird as you think it is. This is one of my favorites. This is from Rebecca Maribel. She said, "Since I started High Vibe Honey when Gala started it, my body is healthier. I'm stronger. My hair has stopped falling out and it's thicker, stronger, and looking feminine. I've come out of trauma, gut disease, 25 different viruses have left my body. I've managed to get a raise at work. I'm ready to find a man I can share laughter with because I'm strong enough now. Wow, I feel good too. Even if I have a day with symptoms, which is rare, I can still find happiness in how far I've come. I'm very grateful I found Gala." So good. MLT said, "Since I started watching High Vibe Honey and doing tapping every week at least, I quit smoking cigarettes and weed. I'm done with my I feel lonely impression. I've really taken the decision to create my business. No more I want to create. Now it's I'm creating. I got closer and made strong bonds with extraordinary people. I've met amazing and interesting people. I'm more benevolent with myself. I've let go of my creative blocks." And there are other things, but I can't name them all. And this one is from Lauren Steinheimer. "I feel like a brand new sparkling person and sometimes can't even believe how good my life is. Since I started tapping with you, I had an absolutely gorgeous wedding and I'm now married to the love of my life. I manifested over $100,000. That doesn't even count my freelance work, which increased fivefold. I found a beautiful new group of badass, intelligent, and high vibe friends. Most importantly, I got better at establishing clear boundaries and prioritizing self-care. Thank you, Gala." That is so beautiful and amazing, and it really is testament to the fact that tapping can help you break through these things that you think are gonna limit you forever. So many of us think this, that we're like, oh, well, this is really as good as it's gonna get, or like, well, I don't really know, so I'll just stay where I am and be comfortable. Tapping helps you break out of that idea of wanting to be comfortable and wanting to stay in one place, and can really help catapult you to the next level. And as I was reading those comments from last week, I was so inspired. I was like, dude, I have to step up my game too. This is amazing. You guys are leaving me in the dust. So I loved reading through those comments, and if you ever need a boost, you should definitely check them out. They are quite amazing. So I told you that we had a new deck of tarot cards that we'd use this week, and it's true. This week I used the Kawaii Tarot, and it is fucking cute, as you would imagine based on the title. So I pulled 3 cards. We didn't do an oracle card this week. We pulled 3 cards, and to me they tell a really strong, beautiful story. They foretell some lovely things coming up, and they also give us a couple of good assignments. So here we go. This is what the back of the cards look like. I mean, that's adorable. So the first card that came up was the 6 of Wands. Look at that. Little lollipops. Ah, adorable. Adorable. So the 6 of Wands says that we need to be proud of ourselves. We need to celebrate our accomplishments. And what this card really tells us, and this is what I really like, is that it tells us that we are about to be acknowledged publicly for what we do in the world. We're about to be rewarded. We're about to receive those accolades. We're about to be validated by the world at large for the things that we do. So maybe this means that you'll get a raise. Maybe it means a new opportunity will come your way. Maybe it means somebody will write an amazing testimonial for you about the work that you do. Whatever it is, this card says, you know, be really proud of that. And this card is about, you don't need to be humble. This card is really about being proud of who you are and proud of what you do and taking it to the next level, and just knowing that you are doing a really, really good job and that it's about to be validated by other people. And that's such a lovely feeling. This card can also say that we may need to give ourselves a little bit more encouragement. So whether you need to start pep talking yourself in the mirror in the mornings or something like that, whatever you need to do to like boost your energy is what this card really recommends that you do in order to receive those accolades. Also, it would be really easy for you to get a signal boost or for someone to say what a great job you've done, but then for you to not share that with the world. And that would be such a missed opportunity. So this week, I really want to encourage you to share the feedback you get around the things that you do and see where it leads you. You really want to make a practice of sharing the positive feedback that you get on your work, just like I did at the beginning of this video. Don't be shy about what you do. Don't be shy about the benefit that your work has. Share it with other people and see where it takes you. Our second card of the week is the Six of Cups. Oh, she pretty. And the Six of Cups is about feeling a sense of balance and harmony and feeling really good. And some of this feeling good is almost a nostalgic feeling. So when the Six of Cups shows up, sometimes it tells us that we are going back to our roots in some ways. We're looking at the things that we used to love as a child when we were younger, and we're playing with that. The Six of Cups really encourages us to be creative and have that playful sense of adventure with whatever we're doing. So whatever it is that is your work or your relationship or your health, wherever it is that you're putting your focus right now, this card encourages us to approach it with a playful attitude and to see where that takes us. This card can also say that there is an old friend returning to the picture, maybe even an old lover, but someone from a long time ago that's going to remind you about how you used to be and how you used to be in the world. And so pay attention to that this week and think about, what is it that really lit me up when I was a child, and how can I incorporate some of that into my life these days? And I always think about the fact that when I was a kid, as an only child, my favorite thing to do was like dress up, make weird videos on this old camcorder that we had, walk around my house with a dictaphone and create this fake radio station, write stories. I used to make a fake newspaper and fake magazines in Microsoft Publisher. Yes, it was like my favorite thing on the planet to do. And when I think about those things, it's so funny because that is exactly what I do now. And it fills me with just as much joy now, if not more, than it did back then. So think about what were the things that you really loved when you were younger, and how can you use that in your current setting, in your current work, in your relationship, in anything. Maybe there was a sport that you used to love, or maybe there was a way of communicating with your friends that you really enjoyed. Why not rekindle some of those things and see how they fit into your life now? See if you can get some creative spark and some juice out of those today. And our final card of the week is the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups is a daddy figure. A king is always a daddy figure. Hey. And the King of Cups is daddy of emotion, and I actually think that we had this card last week. So my advice to you last week was to look at the people in your life who could potentially be a mentor for you. And I would love to hear how that went for you. But this week, because the King of Cups has come up with the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups is really about inner child and going back to those kind of childhood emotions. What I really think this card is about is literally about your relationship with your father. So what is going on with your relationship with your dad? Are you on good terms? When you think of him, what are the thoughts that come to mind? What are the feelings that come to mind? What are the memories that come to mind? I think it's really important that we work on building, strengthening, healing, releasing, forgiving our relationships with our parents, and especially parents of the opposite sex, because that relationship impacts all of our other relationships. And if you have some kind of strife or difficulty with your dad, you're going to find yourself in similar relationships in your life. Maybe they'll be romantic, intimate relationships, or maybe they'll just be relationships with people that you work with or friendships. But what you will do is, if you have these unresolved issues with your father, you're going to find yourself trying to solve those issues with other people in your life. And that doesn't always work. So what you really want to do is go back to the source. So the question that I want you to ask yourself this week, and this is why I'm wearing this hat, is to ask yourself, how can I daddy myself this week? So what that means to you will be completely different to what it means to me. But maybe there were parts of your life where your father was inconsistent, or not loving enough, or maybe not supportive enough, or maybe there were times in your childhood where you didn't feel seen, or you had to be a certain way in order to get his love or his attention. So I want you to really give that some thought this week and ask yourself, where were there moments in my childhood where I felt like my relationship with my father felt short, and what could I do now to make up for that? So it could be that you write your father a letter that you never send. It could be that you get on the phone with him and you really tell him what's going on with you. Or it could just be that you look at the things that you felt you were lacking in your childhood and you resolve to give them to yourself now. So maybe you need more encouragement from your inner daddy. And if that's the case, write yourself some fucking post-it notes and put them all over the house. Maybe you just need to hear, I'm proud of you. And maybe that's something that you can say into the mirror every morning. And the more that you say it, the more resonant it will become, the more you will believe it, the more you will assimilate it, and the more you will behave that way, which will change everything. I've said a million times that our beliefs are the things that drive our lives. So if you believe that people are not to be trusted, you will continue to attract people that are not trustworthy, because your subconscious is always looking to prove you right. So I want you to really think about that this week and ask yourself, how can I daddy myself? How can I give myself the things my father never gave me? Now, some of you may have had extremely abusive childhoods. You may have not had your father in the picture at all. So if that's the case, feel free to create your dream daddy in your mind and think about what it is that you wanted him to give you. If he could have given you anything in your life, what would it have been? And then resolve to start giving yourself those things. This is one of the ways that we heal from childhood trauma and pain, and we stop bringing it forward with us into the future. All of the pain that we have from our childhood, all of the stuff that we're hanging on to, all of the baggage, we would be foolish to think that it is not affecting our relationships and our life today. I absolutely guarantee you that it is. So this is the time to really take a look at it very objectively, very clearly, and ask yourself, what needs to change in order for my life to change and become more satisfying? So those are the questions for you this week, and they're pretty deep. They're pretty deep questions, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to do some real work on ourselves. You are to be commended for doing the work. It is not always easy to do this stuff, and you are doing it, and I'm super proud of you. Our tapping this week is around beginning to forgive our fathers. Woohoo! Fuck! Oh my God, we are not fucking around this week. So, like I said, some of you may have had extremely difficult childhoods. Forgiveness is not about saying that the person that hurt you was in the right, that what they did was okay, that we've forgotten it, that we are fully accepting of what they did. It doesn't mean any of those things. Forgiveness is about giving yourself peace of mind, letting yourself know that it wasn't your fault, that it's in the past, and that in order to move forward and feel good, we need to come to some feeling of resolution around the issue. So like I said, this tapping is not even like, I forgive my father. We're not even going to go there. The closest we're going to get is I'm willing to start the process of potentially forgiving my father. Okay? So don't feel like we're just going to jump into this and like clean it all up immediately, because you may not be ready to do that, and I'm not going to force you to do that because that's not my role. But what I am going to do is just help you like crack the door into maybe changing the way that you see it. Understanding that people are human, even our parents are only human, and as you get older, you know how hard it can be to be a human. And also understanding that whatever happened to our parents influences the way that they treated us and the way that they treat everyone in their lives. We are all a product of our environment, which again is not about saying that this is okay or that this is acceptable, but simply coming to a place of understanding where that may have come from. This will help you a lot. So this is going to be a big one. If you can hang with me through this, fucking virtual high five. Holla back. Like this is a big one, but it's really important stuff. So grab your drink. Let's have a guzzle. And remember that this tapping is really about your inner daddy, right? So if you can make peace with your real daddy, then you can start to understand what it is that you really need to give yourself as an adult. Because nobody's childhood was perfect. We were all missing certain things that we felt that we needed. We all felt abandoned, rejected, unloved at times. And the thing is that we cannot go back and change our childhoods. They were what they were. But what we can do is start to understand them so that we can give ourselves those things that we were lacking as a child now in our adulthood. And that is a really powerful thing to do, because it would be easy to walk around blaming our parents, our family, whoever for our current situation. And you can do that if you want to, but I don't think you're going to experience as much progress, as much growth, or as much joy in your life if you don't claim some of that and start to change the narrative in your own mind. We get to tell a story and dictate the meaning of everything that's happened to us in our lives. So we get to decide what things mean to us. And when we take our power back in the stories we have with our parents, we can really start to change things in our own lives. So without further ado, let's start on the karate chop point. And like I said, this is going to be gentle. We're going to go into this really easy, really light. And then if you like this, let me know, and maybe I can do a follow-up tapping that's kind of more daddy issues stuff. Hashtag daddy issues. My friend Alexandra and I were talking about how we should do a retreat that was literally just called daddy issues, and all we would do the whole time is deal with daddy issues. But anyway, that's a story for another time. But if you do want more of this, let me know, and I can always create more tapping around this kind of stuff. So just let me know what you want. Okay, so starting on the karate chop point. My childhood was not perfect. And I still have some anger. And I still have some sadness. And I'm still carrying around what happened to me. Even though I would love to have had a perfect childhood, there is truly no such thing. And I don't want to let my childhood influence my future or even my present. I want to learn the necessary lessons and then let it go so that I can daddy myself and own my story. I want to be able to look at my childhood objectively and not take it personally so that I can learn and grow. And even though my daddy wasn't perfect, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. It wasn't my fault that he wasn't perfect. And even though he definitely had his issues, I know he was still trying to do the best he could. Nobody gets it right all the time. And my father was no exception. So even though he did things that hurt me, some of them intentional and some of them unintentional, I am willing to begin to see him as human in all his flawed glory. Because I know that when I can let go of some of the pain, my life will get better. I will feel more free. And I will be able to be more of myself. Okay. Oh, holy shit. I think this is like the most serious tapping we've ever done together. So good for you if you're still with me. Some big stuff. Whew. But this is how we really change our lives, right? We take an unapologetically close look at what's going on and we fucking get in there with our toolkit and we do what we gotta do. Radical self-love is not for the weak at heart. It is some fucking warrior shit. It is only for the strong. It is only for the brave. And I know that you are much stronger and much braver than you think that you are. The other thing I want to say is if you don't have any good male role models, or you don't really know who you would kind of want your daddy figure to be, this like idealized daddy figure, think about anyone that you admire that has a really strong personality, that behaves with integrity, that fucking brings it, that is reliable, that you can count on. Who are those people? It might be someone like Tony Robbins, or it might be someone like, I don't know. Everyone has a different idea. Maybe it's like Alec Baldwin or Michael Douglas or anyone. It might be a character from a book. It might be like Russell Brand. It might be Joe Rogan. It might be Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know. But you can pick any of these people and you can combine their traits together to create this like ideal daddy that you want, and then start giving yourself those things that you imagine that they would give you. Like, we don't have to have had a super strong male role model in our lives to grow up and be healthy and integrated and to be able to experience both at the masculine and feminine sides of ourselves. We can draw from things that we have seen, people that we know, experiences that we've had, and we can kind of cook it up in a little soup and make it whatever we want to make it. So don't feel like just because you didn't have a great, strong male role model, all is lost. All is definitely not lost. We can fix this ourselves, and we're going to. Starting on the top of the head. My father was not perfect. And I have struggled with that my whole life. There are so many things I wish he had done. And there are so many things I wish he hadn't done. And these are things that I carry with me forever. Sometimes his voice is the one I hear in my head. Especially when I am being critical of myself. And I know that my father wasn't perfect. Because I'm not perfect either. Even though I'm pretty goddamn good, there's no way that he could have done better than me. Because that's not how it works. We are always an upgrade from our parents. Because we have learned more than they have. So even though my relationship with my father is not perfect, and I'm sure that it's influencing the rest of my life, I accept myself anyway. I forgive myself anyway. and I love myself unconditionally. All fathers are different. Some of them are angry. Some of them are critical. Some of them are abusive. Some of them are inconsistent. And some of them just aren't there at all. No matter what was going on with my father, I understand that he was just a human man. And Lord only knows, human men have some problems. Even though he wasn't perfect, it can help for me to think of him as a little boy. The things that he saw, the things that he heard, and the things that he experienced. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have wanted to have experienced them myself. So even though he fucked me up, I am ready to maybe almost consider thinking about forgiving him one day. I am willing to push that door open just a tiny crack. Not because I condone his behavior, not because it was okay, but because I want to release my burden. And as I think about what he did or didn't do, I start to get clearer about what I need today as a fully realized adult. What was missing from my childhood that I can give myself today? I am fully capable of daddying myself. All I need to do is make a list of what I want and then start doing it. So even though my relationship with my father isn't perfect, I'm willing to loosen the burden on myself. Just a little bit. And I think I know what I need to do next. I think it will become clear to me over this week. As I think about daddying myself with love and attention, I will realize what the next steps are. And as I heal this relationship, whether in real life or just in my mind, my other relationships will begin to heal and transform too. I will treat myself with more respect. I will give myself more encouragement. I will listen to myself and create an environment where I feel safe. So even though my childhood was not perfect, I forgive myself. I recognize that it was not my fault, but that my healing is my responsibility. So today I'm going to start the healing process by thinking about what I can give myself in order to feel good. That sounds like the perfect thing to do. And so it is. Okay, deep breath in, hold it at the top, and exhale. Woo! If you need a nap, honey, you are not alone. This is big, big stuff. Again, this might be one that you come back to on the regs, because daddy stuff is big. Daddy stuff is big. Your homework for the week is to comment below and tell us how you are going to daddy yourself. Tell us what you're going to do. Maybe give us 5 things that you are going to do for yourself this week that will make you feel however it is that you want to feel. Whether it's that you want to feel loved, you want to feel supported, you want to feel encouraged, you want to feel safe, you want to feel backed up. Whatever it is that you want to feel, give us a list of the things that you're going to do this week that will make you feel that way, and then hop to it. You got this. It's so much easier than you think. And this is really what personal growth is all about. It's about asking ourselves, what can we do to beef these things up in our lives? How can we take care of ourselves? How can we take responsibility for our healing and get it cooking? I'm really looking forward to hearing what you're going to do in the comments below, and be sure to go through and comment on somebody else's thing and tell them what a great idea they've had, or tell them you're stealing their idea, because we are all doing this together. And you can buy a hat that says daddy on it. I bought this on Amazon, and if you feel like you need to really step into daddying yourself, go buy yourself this hat. It's like $10 and totally worth it. And you can just be your own daddy, and bonus, it totally scares off weird straight guys. They're like, whoa, I'm so staying away, which sometimes you want, right? So, good luck with daddying yourself this week. I know that you're gonna do a really beautiful job. You already have a very strong inner daddy. Maybe you just don't let him out to play very much. So this is the week that daddy steps into the foreground and you fucking kill it. I'm very excited for you to experiment with this and see how it goes for you. Have a beautiful week.